We're a week into the 2025 offseason for the New York Knicks, and I think it's become very obvious what the master plan is for Leon Rose. We're going to break that down on today's show. But if you miss Knicks basketball and you ride and die with this team and you're hoping 2025, 2026 is the year they put a banner in the rafters at the world's most famous arena, click that thumbs up icon right now. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for rolling in, as I feel as if Leon Rose's master plan has been revealed. I know we're only a week into the offseason. The New York Knicks haven't even hired their next coach to replace Tom Thibodeau, but if you're following along on this channel, which means you're subscribed, which you should be, and you're reading the tea leaves, it's pretty obvious what Leon Rose wants. And this would be one of the biggest moves or duo of moves that this franchise has ever seen. Step one, it's pretty obvious. They want to go out and they want to hire Jason Kidd for a couple of different reasons. Brian Windhorst just went on to ESPN and he doubled down on what we said on the show earlier today, that there is mutual interest between Jason Kidd and the New York Knicks. Also, shout out to Big Nick Energy. They said that last week. We had also been told that. So, Big Nick Energy's saying it, we're saying it, and now Brian Windhorst is saying it. We know the New York Knicks have interest there. They are going to submit a request to interview him, Jason Kidd. It hasn't happened yet, and most likely the path they would have to travel down if the Mavs allow the Knicks to interview him is a trade. Or maybe Jason Kidd just resigns from the position and he no longer wants to be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks and he wants to leave to go be the head honcho for the New York Knicks. So there we have with that. That's the latest update on that. But it's very clear that Leon Rose's number one choice is Jason Kidd. And let's kind of go back a couple of steps as to why Jason Kidd, because there's a major reason I believe that they want him. Number one is they liked him back in 2020 when he was in the running and in the interview process to be the Knicks head coach when they ultimately chose Tom Thibodeau to be that guy. So clearly the organization likes him. Leon Rose likes him, and enough to be the runner-up, but not enough to get the job. He also has a great relationship with the face of the New York Knicks, that being Jalen Brunson. Brunson said on the Roommates podcast earlier this year that his second favorite head coach ever was Jason Kidd. So they have a relationship there, and I think it's pretty important to hire a guy that Jalen Brunson is a fan of, considering you fired Tom Thibodeau, who he absolutely adores. We also know that James Dolan wants to make sure that the players have a large input on who this coach could be. So we got him as the runner-up in 2020. He has a great relationship with Jalen Brunson, and I think that the keys to unlock the dream of trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo is hiring Jason Kidd. I think Jason Kidd is someone that would make the New York Knicks even more of a destination that Giannis wants to go to, already more than he wants to be. Giannis loves Jason Kidd. You can go out and look it up. When he was the coach of Milwaukee, he spoke in a very kind favor about him. And when rumors started to heat up that Kidd would be fired or there would be a parting of ways, Giannis was not happy about it. And it's very clear at this point that the New York Knicks' next chess move is to make a trade for Giannis. And they think hiring Jason Kidd can get them there. Shout out to Jerry Warfel, who covers the NBA and has been doing it for a long time. He reported this: could there be a Giannis Antetokounmpo Jason Kidd reunion in New York? There's a report the Knicks are asking Dallas officials permission to speak to Kidd about their vacant head coaching position. Yesterday, I was told the Knicks are preparing to make a tsunami-type offer to acquire Antetokounmpo from the Bucks. Jason Kidd once coached Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee. And here we go. This is the ultimate plan for Leon Rose, and I don't knock him for it. If you can put together a big two of Brunson and Giannis, you're going to be competing in the East for quite some time, as Giannis is still just 30 years old. And You're going to need Giannis to force his way here due to the Knicks not having the best trade package to send. Shout out to the moves they made last summer. And they believe if Jason Kidd is the man in charge, Giannis would like that a lot. There's no way that they know that Giannis wants to play for Jason Kidd, right? There's no way they could figure that out. But, yeah, we know that Leon Rose is always 2 steps ahead. And I think we have a pretty good track record on this channel of following it every single step of the way and being a step ahead of everybody else, as has my guys over at Big Nick Energy this offseason and last offseason and the year before that. They claim they don't have sources, but they're being extremely humble. They have been right a lot. They said this back on June 5th. Our sources confirm Jason Kidd is at the top of Leon Rose's list for the next head coach of the New York Knicks. We now hear 4 days later from the big guys over at ESPN that there is mutual interest there. And you know what? I applaud Leon Rose for this. Go out and swing for the fences, man. If you're trying to do everything it takes to win a championship for the Knicks, yeah, you should go out and you should go and try to make a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know, but Marshall, the depth. We're not going to have any depth. Who needs depth when you have Jalen Brunson's, Karl Anthony Towns, and Giannis? That not only would be the best duo in the NBA between Brunson and Giannis, it would by far and away be the best trio in the NBA if you're able to keep Karl Anthony Towns in that deal, which it sounds like that is what they want, and it makes a lot of sense. Giannis playing next to a stretch 5 and Brook Lopez is when he had the most success in his career. And if you pair Giannis at the 4 with the best shooting big man of all time and Cat at the 5, I think that could find a way to work itself out. The question becomes, do the Knicks have enough to get this done? There's some trades they could make. There's some pieces they could move, but they're absolutely going to need the help from Giannis. Giannis hasn't officially requested a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks, and there were some reports that came out this weekend that maybe he wants to stay with the Milwaukee Bucks. But if you go over to Giannis and say, we got the coach you want, we got a deal in place, you could play next to Brunson and Cat for a guy that's trying to win in the East, or win, a championship, get to stay in the East, play in the biggest city, the best city, and a place that he said is his favorite place to play, that might make him change his mind. Or maybe it'll just make him reinforce his thoughts, which maybe he already wants to be a Knick. If you want that to happen, if you want the Knicks to trade for Giannis this offseason, hit that thumbs up icon and subscribe to the channel. We're going to break it down every step of the way. So subscribe, turn those notifications on so you never miss a thing. Coming up next, we're going to break down some Giannis Antetokounmpo trade ideas to the New York Knicks as Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report released an article, and we will talk about that. First, though, I got to give a major shout-out to our proud sponsor here on Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and that is Factor. Shout out to Factor Meals. And with our promo code NicksChat50 off, you're going to get yourself 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Summer is here, which means there's more daytime, there's more sun, and there's more reason to be outside. And with Factor, you could do that because you won't spend hours inside the house cooking. You won't spend hours inside the grocery store, shopping, and you'll be able to get outside and enjoy the summer much more. That's where Factor comes in. Factor, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating as well. Factor powers your day, sun up to sundown, with nutritious breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. Factor has you covered for the whole day. Enjoy more this summer. Get Factor if you want all the flavor and none of the fuss. I use Factor all the time. It's good food, it's high quality, and it helps me maximize my time. I'm a pretty busy guy covering the Knicks and the Giants every single day, and I don't have the time I need to meal prep. And I'm trying to take my health more seriously. In Factor, it helps me do that. So get started with them at factormeals.com/NicksChat50 off and use that code NicksChat50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code NicksChat50 off at factormeals.com/NicksChat50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Go to factormeals.com/NicksChat50 off. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. All right, let's go back to this from Big Nick Energy. They tweeted this back out on June 4th. I hadn't gotten a chance to talk about it. They said, one more note when they linked the New York Knicks to Jason Kidd, saying the Knicks are pursuing a star player while retaining Cat. They believe Cat's potential remains untapped in a modern NBA offense, and that his chemistry with Brunson can significantly grow. Take that how you want. So who are the star players out there? Maybe a Kevin Durant or maybe a Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Big Nick Energy hasn't publicly said that it's Giannis. I have heard that the New York Knicks are all in on trying to make that happen, and they later tweeted a photo edit that we showed you of Giannis, Brunson, and Cat. So they've said it without saying it, and my people are telling me the same thing. They want to make it happen. They want to form the best big three in basketball, and they want to do it while keeping Karl Anthony Towns, which means every player not named Brunson or Cat is on the market. They're going to need some help, though, from the big fella, from the Greek freak. If they're going to make this happen, Giannis has to make it happen. And we live in the player empowerment era of the NBA. Giannis goes to Milwaukee, says, I don't want to play here, and the only other place I want to play is New York. Milwaukee then looks at Giannis and says, thank you for winning a championship for us. Thank you for making us relevant again. We're going to get as much as we can from the Knicks, and we will make you happy. And maybe they want a lot of picks in that package. They can make it a 3-team trade, or they can do what the Portland Trailblazers did when they traded for Drew Holiday, and then they swung Drew Holiday to the Boston Celtics. You could just reroute those players in a later deal to get picks. I know people are going to be like, Marshall, we don't need Giannis. Well, you should never, ever say anything like that. Giannis is, without a doubt, in my opinion, the second best player in the NBA. And over the last 4 years, he averages 30 points, 11.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and shoots better than 55.3% from the field. He just scored 50 points in a closeout game in the NBA Finals not too long ago. He's still just 30 years old. And if you could add the second best player in the world to the Knicks, alongside Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, you're going to be in a good spot to compete for a couple of years. All right, let's go to the trade ideas from Bleacher Report. Shout out to them and Eric Pincus. A little bit harder to read, but there was so much going on in this trade, and it might have to be a crazy trade. So I'll just break it down for you from the top. Trade idea number 1, the Milwaukee Bucks get John Concher, and they also get a 2025 pick number 48. The Grizzlies get pick number 47 in the upcoming draft, plus a $6 million trade exception via John Concher. Trade number 2, so it's a multi-team trade. The New York Knicks get Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks get OG Anunoby, Brandon Clark, Vince Williams, G.G. Jackson, a first-round protected pick from the Knicks, a first-round swap from the Knicks, a 2028 protected first-round pick from Memphis, a 2030 first-round swap rights from the Knicks, a 2032 protected first-round pick from the Grizzlies, a 2032 first-round swap with the rights coming from the Knicks, which is top 5 protected. The Grizzlies would also get Mikal Bridges. So I say all that to say the Knicks would give up essentially picks, swaps, Anunoby, and Bridges, and they get back Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's going to be not cheap for the Knicks to make that deal. I'll share my thoughts on if I would do that in a second. Trade idea number 2 from Bleacher Report. The New York Knicks get Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyler Smith from the Milwaukee Bucks. He was a lottery pick from the a first-round pick from the G League Ignite last year. The Milwaukee Bucks acquire Karl Anthony Towns and a second-round pick for Brooklyn, and the Nets receive Pacome Dadier from the New York Knicks. This isn't going to be enough, in my opinion, unless the Bucks just are solely all in on acquiring Karl Anthony Towns. And like we've talked about and reported, shout out to Big Nick Energy, the Knicks want to keep Karl Anthony Towns. When it comes to Marshall, would you do any of these deals, or what's the deal you would do? I just come back to this. You do whatever it takes and whatever needs to be done to add Giannis. Sure, it goes without saying you don't trade Jalen Brunson. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You get Brunson on this team. He's going to be here for a while. He's faced the organization. We know all that. And if you could pair him alongside Giannis for the foreseeable future, you're going to give yourself, in my opinion, the best chance to win multiple NBA Finals. He's the second best player in the world. I think Brunson's a top 10 player, maybe even top 7 player in the NBA. Like, get it done. Find a way to get it done. If you're serious about putting a banner in the rafters for the first time in 50-plus years, go do it. But you're going to need help from Giannis as well, and I think that it starts by the New York Knicks somewhat catering to him and going getting the coach that he loved and getting a coach that he would feel comfortable playing for the New York Knicks. Look, I trust Leon to make the right moves. Is he perfect? No. Has he been 100% right about everything? No. Everybody misses. Bill Belichick would miss. Pat Riley has missed. Eric Spoelstra has missed. The best in all of sports have missed. But I'm going to trust him because he's gotten us this far. It is time to be aggressive. The time is now. The Eastern Conference is wide open. Especially if Giannis gets traded, that eliminates the Bucks from contention. And we know the Boston Celtics are dealing with the injury bug themselves with Jason Tatum. So yeah, if you can get Giannis and you're required to go and get Jason Kidd, you do it. But if hiring Kidd, I'll rephrase that. If hiring Jason Kidd makes Giannis Antetokounmpo want to be a Knick, you go out and do it. You find a way to find a way. If you got to trade for him, you do it. If you make J. Kidd go in the back and piss everybody off in the Mavs organization and he resigns or they fire him or it's an agreement to separate, do it. If getting Kidd makes Giannis want to be here, you got to do it because the only way you're going to be able to trade for Giannis is if he tells the Bucks he wants to be a Knick. But I would not hire Jason Kidd if you're not getting Giannis. It doesn't really make much sense to me. I think there's better options out there. I think there are other coaches that could elevate the floor and the ceiling better than Jason Kidd, unless obviously Giannis walks through that door with him. So if you get Giannis and it forced you to get Kidd, you do it. But if you can't get Giannis, I'm not really all that interested in hiring Jason Kidd as the next head coach for the New York Knicks. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Give me a follow over there. And let's go Knicks.